Tree bark and grass enthusiasts, internet. First of all, happy birthday, by the way. Second, my name is Peridiam, and welcome to 5 wild Survivor moments that weren't shown on camera 2.0. Because the backstories behind the scenes never end, and we gotta talk about them. Also, if you missed the first video, check it out. We've still got some leftover jerky, but otherwise, here is the next wild moment. Imagine this. You're on Survivor Season 12, Exile Island. You get placed on the purple Kasaya tribe. You look to your left, you see Danielle, Suri, and Courtney. You look to your right, you see Bruce, Aris, and Bob Dog. You look down, what do you see? If you answered a brick of Panamanian cocaine, well, buckle up. Because you're probably Shane Powers. On day 9 of season 12, one of my favorite stories happened in all of Survivor. Shane was chilling by the water and noticed something taped up had washed ashore. Curious, he picked it up and to his surprise discovered it was a brick of pure cocaine. It was wrapped up and ready to be sold, and Shane wasn't sure what to do next. So he did what any of us would do, and he grabbed the tribe's machete, cut it open, and touched it. His fingers began to tingle, and now the entire rest of the season is starting to make sense. A producer was nearby and wasn't sure what to do. They radioed the base camp and decided to take away the cocaine from Shane and probably have some fun with it, even deeper behind the scenes. That's the stuff that wasn't shown or caught on camera. We'll save that for another video. Shane was understandably kind of disappointed and was hoping to use it for challenges, but I gotta point out that Kasaya went on to win 4 of the next 5 challenges of the season anyway, so either they didn't need it, or...
And I looked down, and at my feet is a square like this of tape. It was a brick. It looked like a brick of tape. You know, I've seen some movies. And I looked at Aris, and I was like, holy shit, dude, this is a fucking key of coke. 2.2 pounds of cocaine. The segment producer was like, listen, man, I don't know if this is good or bad for the show, but Shane has found a brick of cocaine. I was thinking about what we could do to use the cocaine. I know that the production had a mighty fine season.
For moment number 2, let's talk about the edge of extinction. Sorry, no, I meant Redemption Island. Sorry, no, I meant the first draft. Let's talk about the outcast twist from season 7, Pearl Islands. There was this twist where the first 6 eliminated players all returned as a new tribe where they could compete in a challenge to win their way back into the game. They competed against both of the other 2 tribes of non-eliminated players, and if the outcasts beat both tribes, 2 of the players on that tribe would get to return to the main game. In the actual episode, we saw the outcasts win the challenge by a decent margin, thus allowing them to attend tribal council and breathe new life into 2 of their players. They voted in Burton and Lil for various reasons. We saw all of this go down on camera, and as they say, the rest is history. Oh yeah, and speaking of the rest took place back in a Panamanian hotel during the pre-jury trip. Well, sorta. I don't have all the details on this one, but I do have first-hand accounts and sources from people who were actually there. Because what we didn't see, what most fans aren't aware of, is that the outcasts had a slight leg up against the other tribes. On top of the obvious, such as not competing in challenges after they were voted out, in the episode, Jeff tells everyone that the outcasts were living in similar conditions to the other tribes for the past 19 days. So basically, if I get this right, when a player was voted off, they went to this new camp and just sat there with no footage to be found, existing. So basically, the edge of extinction. Well, about that. Many years later, in an interview with Google and Dean from season 39, Jeff said something peculiar. It caught my attention. He said the outcasts went to a hotel, ate meals, showered. They were on the pre-jury hangout doing what voted out players usually do. For those who don't know, by the way, when a player is voted out, they often go on excursions in the area until the season is over. To avoid spoilers, the players are paid to hang out on vacation with production handlers watching their every step. But make no mistake, they get food, they get clean, they get all the creature comforts one would expect when on vacation. But none of this would be on camera, because apparently, according to Jeff, the Outcast twist was created on a whim by Mark Burnett, the showrunner, at some point early on in the season. This is the key detail that I don't really know, so it's hard to exactly pinpoint when the Outcast twist was conceived. You would think on Survivor they would have all these twists lined up at the beginning of the season, but the way that Jeff phrases what he says in this interview, it sounds like they sort of thought of it on the spot.
Do you guys have a tribe name?
We're the Outcasts.
Drake, Morgan, just so you know, the outcasts have been living on very limited rations of rice and fruit and protein, just like you. We did this thing where we brought back people, we called them the outcasts, and we voted people out. They went to a hotel and ate and had a shower, and then Mark said, we should just bring them back. We're like, but that's fundamentally wrong.
However, I decided to dig a little bit deeper because that's what I do. I actually had the chance to interview one of the outcasts themselves, Trish, and she told me a lot about her experience. She told me upon being voted out, she was transported to another island with the rest of the outcasts. They had a camp somewhat similar to the Drake tribe, and everyone there was just as they had been when she last saw them. The outcasts were clueless as to what was going on. They didn't know they had a chance to even return to the game. They actually thought that they were waiting for the last pre-juror to arrive so they could go on their pre-jury trip, but instead they were given some purple buffs and whisked away to the comeback challenge that we see in the episode. So I think, when we also consider what Jeff said, the outcast twist may have been concocted either early in the season on the spot or possibly before the season even began, I guess, but it took effect very early on in the season. Either way, there is a whole tribe's worth of drama out there that we will never get to see, and that makes me sad.
You guys slept on that island in houses, got eggs, you got yogurt.
Rhino, how much did you sleep when you got voted out?
Nicole told me.
How much did you sleep when you got voted out? Because I didn't sleep at all. I couldn't. And I lost more weight in the 6 days I was out of the game than the previous 12 days in the game.
I got on a boat and just me, and I went to a whole third island, and the rest of the survivors were there living as castaways. They were boiling water. They had a well, replica of the well that we had on Drake camp. It didn't look like the Morgan camp because the Morgan camp was so messed up that, I was like, what the hell? Like, where's the hotel room? They were like, we have, poor Nicole. Nicole was like, they're not telling me anything. I have no idea.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if the players voted Jeff Probst out?
Probst. Snuffing the torch. Man, I'd like to snuff that guy's torch.
Well, wonder no more. This moment took place at the end of episode 2 when the Pagong tribe was at tribal council. Now, it needs to be said when understanding the context of the first season, the Pagong tribe were the younger tribe of the season. Call them the Gen Zers of their time, or Gen X, if you will. And one of the more outspoken players was Greg. Greg didn't take the show very seriously. He thought the entire production of it was a bit bizarre. And so when Pagong had to vote someone out at their first tribal council in episode 2, Greg and company went up and spearheaded a vote against the man himself. They all voted for Jeff Probst. And as Mark Burnett put it, Jeff was not happy, least of all with Greg. It was too big a move for episode 2. Greg was ahead of his time with that blindside. So the tribe all had to revote and they voted out BB.
That's it for tonight's tribal council. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
A twist of fate that maybe some didn't expect and some did.
The first Pagong Tribal Council in real life was so chaotic and so out of control. And Burnett specifically says after that tribal council, Jeff was furious because he had no control over the Pagongs. They were voting for him. They were just talking over him. They were not paying attention. So Burnett and Jeff met after that second tribal council and said, we're going to make some changes. From here on out, you call the shots. You're the one steering the ship.
The conch shell is 150% a response to what happened at the Pagong Tribal Council. Let's make everyone have a turn by holding the magic shell.
That being said, I want to point out one other thing. Jeff was actually voted out in the preseason of season 27, Blood vs. Water in 2013, by none other than Parvati herself. This was a press-only tribal council, and the press were told to vote out Parvati. Parvati was also part of the press at that time. Even Jeff wrote her name down. But it turned out, unbeknownst to Probst, Parvati's clever. You can't get one by her like that. She stole an idol from the art department and played it, and that resulted in Jeff getting voted out instead. And Parvati became the new host of Survivor ever since.
This is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast for Parvati will not count.
So then it's you. The idol gets bounced back and you get voted out.
Yep.
So I snuff your torch.
If it had to go down this way, I'm glad it was you.
Let's talk about the fourth moment. Speaking of changing the game in season 34, Game Changers, you may remember a scene or two where the swapped Nuku tribe debated eating a few goats that they caught on the island. Apparently, the original Nuku tribe had set up some traps around the area to catch these goats in the event that the tribe wanted to eat them for sustenance. Well, this new Nuku tribe did end up catching two goats, a mama goat and its baby. Oh, it's so cute. And in the episode, there was a big debate on whether these two goats should get eaten, and we saw the tribe release the two goats and let them live their life in peace. But that's not the end of the story. Happily ever after may not be so happy after all. As Sandra told us in her exit press after she was voted out, if you look at the food the tribe was eating after they released those goats, it wasn't chicken and it wasn't fish. Oh my God. Okay, wait, no, hold on. The story goes deeper. It doesn't end there. A part of me does kind of want to end it there just for the shits and giggles, but no. It turned out the mama goat and the baby goat were let go, as we saw in the episode. Take solace, it's okay. But what we didn't see was that afterward, a different goat was caught. It was a male, and that's what they ended up eating. Sandra provided this information to fans after the season, and she even went on to say that the boot order of the tribe was the order the players on the tribe took turns eating the goat. Malcolm was first, then JT, then Sandra, and then Varner. She said that that goat that they ended up eating was cursed, as each of them were voted out in the next 4 episodes. And damn, that story was a roller coaster. But let's save a wild moment of a doozy for last. And this one blew my mind. I'm actually not entirely sure what to believe about it, even as I say this. The moment I'm talking about was on season 19, Samoa, at the Final 4 Immunity Challenge, the final challenge of this season. The winner of this challenge determined whether a FOA member was going to win this season or the first ever CGI player was going to win. It's impressive what they can do with computers these days. CGI Brett himself was the lone Galoo member against the 3 FOAs, and if he didn't win, he was a goner. And the challenge resulted in Russell going against Brett, as both Natalie and Mick fell out halfway in. The players had to balance a statue on top of a pole, and the last player able to keep their statue balanced wins. The entire season was on the line, and as we saw in the episode, Brett's statue fell and Russell was declared the winner of the challenge, to be clear, not the season. And that was that. Another nail-biter of a challenge for the history books. Imagine if Brett had won. A totally different season. Well, long after the season had aired, Russell stated that what we saw in the episode wasn't the first time that challenge was run. It turns out that what we saw was the second running of the challenge, and that in the first run, Brett and Russell were the final 2, and Brett's statue fell, but before Jeff could declare Russell the winner of the challenge, Russell dropped his statue in excitement, and Jeff told him the win that he just got didn't count, because I guess Jeff had to declare that Russell had won or something. I don't know. I know Jeff can be finicky with his rulings, like when he gave Laurel immunity in season 36 Ghost Island despite Wendell finishing the puzzle before her. Because Laurel told Jeff first, she won, even though technically Wendell completed the puzzle before she did. So it's like a competition to get Jeff's attention. Survivor in a nutshell, huh? Apparently, because of Russell's technicality, Jeff made the Samoa Final 4 rerun the challenge, and that's what we ended up seeing in the episode. And let me tell you, if I had a nickel for every time that Russell won a final immunity challenge, I would have 3 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened thrice.
His fell down and hit the ground. When it fell down, I threw mine to the side to grab the statue because I thought I won. And Jeff said, "No, I didn't say it was over." So we had to do that challenge twice. I beat Brett twice in that challenge.
That is crazy.
Well, that blows my mind.
Brett falls off. Russell wins individual immunity, his first, and it couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, when you saw it just now for the first time tonight, did you relive that?
Oh yeah, I relived it. It was sad.
And that's going to be it. Those are 5 wild Survivor moments that weren't shown on camera. Some pretty bizarre stuff in this one, and I'm sure we're only scratching the surface. And speaking of that, if you know of any more that would be strange enough for me to talk about, let me know. And let me know what you think about these moments. A huge thank you to my patrons for all your support. You may be CGI on the screen, but you're very real in my heart. And thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to count your nickels on your way out. And I will see you in the next one, once I envision an alternate reality, an alternate timeline, where Parvati really is the host of Survivor 2.0.
I'm not prepared for this.
Well, you should have been. You are one of the best to have ever played this game. You deserve all the accolades that you get, but there are a lot of people that want you gone. It's so time for you to go.
I'm gonna play it, Jeff.
You have an idol?
You think I'd come to tribal without an idol?
Any votes cast for poverty will not count.
So then it's you. The idol gets bounced back and you get voted out.
Yep.
So I snuff your torch. Probst. The tribe has spoken.
This really hurts.
Get out of here.